The Goop Directory by Gelett BURGESS.
This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org.
The Goop Directory.
In this directory, you'll see just what you never ought to be, and so it should direct your way to good behavior every day. The children of whose faults I tell are known by other names as well, so see that you aren't in this group of naughty ones. Don't be a goop.
Marmaduke Argyle.
Talking while eating.
A goop that always makes me smile. Is this one? Marmaduke Argyle. His mouth is full from cheek to cheek. Why should he then attempt to speak? It makes me smile, but still the fact is it is a most unpleasant practice.
Nancy Beale, throwing away things.
On the sidewalk, Nancy Beale throws her old banana peel, throws her apple skin and cores, right in front of people's doors. Isn't that a shocking trick? Ask the goop to stop it quick.
Master Bildad, selfish with toys.
A puppy, when he gets a bone, will keep it from himself alone. So Bildad would not share his toys or lend them to the other boys. He was a goop, and so are you if you are ever selfish too.
Percy Bing, in the way.
Percy Bing, when he's at play, it almost always in the way, in the room or in the street, always under people's feet. Goops like that annoy me, so you keep out the way. I know.
Betsy Birch, talking in church.
Look at little Betsy Birch, always whispering in a church, always playing with the books, never caring how she looks, never knowing goops like her ought to neither talk nor stir.
Levi Boing, going carelessly.
Are you a goop like Levi Boing? He never looks where he is going. He's always bumping into chairs and stumbling when he goes upstairs. He tips things over, bumps his nose. He can't be careful, I suppose.
Mary C.C. Call, crying continuously.
Mary Cory call, hear her cry and hear her bawl, hear her groan, hear her growl, hear her moan, hear her howl. She's the goopiest goop of all, Mary Cory call.
Little Coralie, getting feet wet.
Thought Coralie was small and sweet. She always had wet feet. She liked to walk through puddles, so she always had a cold, you know. But as you aren't a goop, you try to keep your tootsies warm and dry.
Andrew Crossett, playing with the faucet.
Have you heard how Andrew Crossett meddled with the water faucet, letting water flood the sink? Andrew was a goop, I think. Otherwise he would have known he should let such things alone.
Annabella Day, obeying slowly.
How slow is Annabella Day? She's so reluctant to obey. She acts so sluggish and so sickly. Oh, Anna, why not do it quickly? Oh, Anna, do be prompt, and then no one will call you goop again.
Gwendolyn D.V. DeWitt, sulking.
Miss Gwendolyn DeWitt is having such a sulky fit because she couldn't have her way with other children at their play. A skulky goop I really call, as bad as those who cry and bawl.
Adolphus Elphinstone, playing with matches.
Adolphus Elphinstone of Notches thought it was fun to play with matches until the little goop had learned it hurt a lot when he got burned. A little fire is queer and curious, but soon it grows quite big and furious.
Amanda Fish.
In there's sugar in the dish. Who will take it? Amanda Fish. If there is a box of candy, just look out for little Mandy. She goops the fruit and leaves the peeling. She calls it fun. I call it stealing.
Frederick Fisher. Not eating crust.
Frederick Fisher fairly fuzzed when he came to eat his crust or tin or the floor. He often on the floor. He threw it hopping, mother wouldn't know it. Goops hate to eat the crust. If you're told to, then you must.
Ezra Hecht.
What in the world would you expect of a Goop whose name was Ezra Hecht? Of course he refused to heed of mine, his mother, yes indeed. Of course you would, of course he did, but you must do what you are bid.
M. and B. Hopper.
Mother always is distressed. If you fidget when you're dressed, if you fidget like Miss Midget, Hopper, or her sister Bridget, Goops like that are so much bother that they ought to dress each other.
Amanda M. James.
Amanda Mindsinger James, she called her sister horrid names. She called her brother names as well, so bad I wouldn't dare to tell. It's shocking how a Goop will act. They have no manners, that's a fact.
Susie Klein.
Whenever I hear a puppy whine, I always think of Susie Klein. I think of how she hangs her head. She doesn't speak, she whines instead. Don't whine if you don't speak right out. You are a Goop without a doubt.
Roberto Lees.
How thoughtless was Roberto Lees, for only thoughtless children tease. He teased the little pussy cat. He teased the puppy. Think of that. He even teased his sister too. I think he was a Goop, don't you?
Annie A. Legrand.
The queeriest Goop in all the land was Annabelle Legrand. She often said what wasn't true, which is an awful thing to do. But we were honest, you and I. I think it's wrong to tell a lie. Miss McAdoo. This is a Goop, Miss McAdoo. She never speaks when spoken to. When spoken to, she turns her eyes and never answers or replies. She hangs her head and sucks her thumb. You'd think that she was deaf of dumb.
Isabel McClung.
Do you ever stick your tongue out like Isabel McClung? No one but a Goop would show rudeness such as that. I know. If you're good, please take my advice. Please don't do it. Tisn't nice.
Alexander B. McGiff.
Young Alexander B. McGiff. Each day had a clean handkerchief. In spite of this, you'll believe he wiped his nose upon his sleeve. Nobody but a Goop would do it. His mother scolded him if she knew it.
Elias E. McGuff.
Elias Elphebert McGuff. Oh, he was rude, and he was rough. He used to pinch, he used to poke. He called his rudeness just a joke. What made him plunge his playmates so? He was a Goop and didn't know.
Solomon McKim. Scuffing feet.
I wondered if you ever met the Goop who always scuffs his feet. He makes them drag along the floor as if they weighed a ton or more. Just think of Solomon McKim, and don't be slovenly like him.
John D. Pell.
When John D. Pell wants something done, do you think he asks of anyone? Oh no, he orders someone to get my hat or tie my shoe. The Goops all say rude things like these, but you of course say if you please.
Esau Pound. Yes.
When you're finished with your play, do you put your toys away? Do you put your hat and your coat and things like that? Or are you like Esau Pound? He's the Goop who leaves things around.
I was going to ask her mom if she minded if I put this on LibriVox. You just have to have a parental thing. Eliza Puddingfoot.
Cheating at play. If you should ask why Rosamond Eliza Puddingfoot shunned, I'd say because she'd always cheat in every game so she could beat. Only a Goop would act that way and be dishonest in her play.
Amelia Pratt.
Saying I won't, says young Amelia Pratt. I won't do this. I won't do that. Now isn't what the naughtiest word that anyone has ever heard. Now isn't that the rudest way a Goop could answer? I should say.
Jumbo Ray.
Snatching toys. No children ever like to play with such a Goop as Jumbo Ray, for he will snatch and grab the toys of all the little girls and boys. That Jumbo loves to fuss and fight. You know, of course, it isn't right.
Annie F.R. Riff.
Snuffling and sniffling. Annie Fanny Ruffle Riff. Hear her snuffle, hear her sniff. Hear her sniffle, hear her snuff. See her well, I've said enough. You have seen her, I suppose. The Goop who seldom blows her nose.
Felicia Rops.
Handling things. Oh no. Funny how Felicia Rops always handles things in shops. Always pinching, always poking, always feeling, always stroking. Things she has no right to touch. Goops like that annoy me much.
Percival B. Sloop.
Just attacking. Just look at Percival B. Sloop, a most unpleasant sort of Goop. He pokes his fingers in his nose and wipes his hands upon his clothes. He does a lot of things that I know, would never do. Susan Smolt.
Blaming others.
Oh, says little Susan Smolt, it is someone else's fault. She began, she's to blame.
She's the one that spoiled the game.
So Goops always blame each other.
Do you own up your fault to mother? Sperry Sprooks, tearing books. Have you ever chanced to look at a torn and dirty book? At a book that's ragged, soiled, inked and finger marked and spoiled. Who has done it? Sperry Sprooks. He's the Goop that spoils the books. Uriah Stead.
Not going to bed. Oh no. I never saw Uriah Stead when he was glad to go to bed. There always was one thing to do before he could take off a shoe. The little Goop was always late. I hope you don't procrastinate.
Rosie L.V. Trude. Playing with food.
Rosie Lily Violet Trude always messes with her food, always plays with her potatoes, meat and gravy and tomatoes. Crawlers who are asked to dine, knowing she's a Goop decline. The end.
End of the Goop Directory.